Sorry guys, I ran out of time on my previous video. So here is the next option. Option 2 says create a skit, again, 3 people maximum, and this will be presented to the class. The other 3 options are not required to be presented to the class, so I'm not going to have you do that. This one, though, is required to be presented, so just keep that in mind. Same concept for this option. Again, you're coming up with a skit documenting the life or travels of someone in ancient Africa and their daily life trading goods and services in order to make a living. So pretty much the same idea as the short story, except this time you're performing it for the class. It needs to be at least 2 minutes in length. Keep that in mind, because if it is not, you will get docked points for that. You also need to have a script that you turn into me the day that it's due. So again, next Tuesday is when this is due. You need to write a script on Google Docs and send it to me before then. And you also need to have that submitted to Schoology on the day that it's due. So you can either submit it to Schoology or you can share it with me. I'd prefer you submit it to Schoology so that I can grade it in there. In your skit, it's going to talk about goods and services that were traded throughout Africa, the hardship of trading before modern technology and travel. This all should be very similar to the first option. You do need to make sure, though, that all the students who are in your skit are involved in writing and acting out the skit. So it's not like one person writes a skit, one person is just sitting there, and the other person is responsible for acting out the majority of the skit, and the other 2 people are just standing there as props or something. Everybody needs to have a major role in the skit so that they can all earn equal points. Okay, let's move on to option 3, which is to draw a comic. Again, this one is individual, just like number 1. The same idea applies for this one. You're documenting the life and travels of someone in ancient Africa. And for this one, remember, a comic is like in a newspaper, so it should have a story that progresses through time. Each side of a piece of paper is going to have 8 boxes on it, each with a different thing happening in that box. It needs to include both trading and traveling. So to signify different time, you could write at the top of one of your boxes 2 weeks later or a month later or something like that to show how long time has passed. I have pieces of paper for you to do your comic strip on in the bucket on the countertop. So you can go and get a piece of paper out of there. Please do not waste all of my paper, though. Maybe do a rough draft on a piece of lined paper and then do your final draft. But just keep in mind, you only have today and Friday to work on this. So you could just go straight into your final draft. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if it's super messy, obviously you'll lose some points for that. But that's the comic, and I do have a couple examples that I left with the sub to show you what I'm looking for that one. Okay, last option. Option 4 is to do a study of trade in Africa today. This one is individual as well. It says make a video of yourself explaining trade in Africa today versus trade in ancient times. So in class the other day and in the makeup assignment, it talks about what types of things were traded and how they were traded. Your responsibility for this option is to explain in a video of yourself. You can use Screencastify or whatever other method you want to record yourself talking about those things. So what was traded in ancient times compared with what is traded today in Africa. You might need to do a little bit of research to find that out. You can also use the makeup activity a little bit to help you with that as well. Make sure to include how modern technology and travel have benefited trade today and how that has maybe increased trade or made it better. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that was a good description of what each option is. If you are still confused about what you're supposed to be doing, you can send me an email. I will be checking that periodically throughout the day. But again, you only have class today and class on Friday to work on this, and it is due at the start of class on Tuesday. So please use your time productively in class, make smart decisions with who you're going to be working with, and have a great day, guys. I will see you all on Tuesday.